Hey there, Energy Explorers. Got a treat for you today. We've got some advancements on the traditional Qigong wand, Ki Qigong wand. Well, it's not quite traditional. It's a new invention. It's standard. This is inert. It's got energy projection. Some of you guys who are sensitive can feel the energy coming out of the wands just by having it point at you. Basically, it's got a number of different physics principles taken from a couple of different sources. The basic physics model is from the subquantum kinetics model by Paul Laviolette. However, there's also a lot of other additional physics from a huge number of sources, all the way from the 1850s all the way to 2010, from all across the globe, China, Russia, etc. This is a book by Claude Swanson, Life Force, Scientific Basis. A lot of research from a lot of different places on how energy relates to physics and other sciences. But don't use this as the basic physics model because it's not strong. There's a lot of physics properties here that are used, put together the physics properties from that are talked about across many different experiments. From this source, together with the physics model, this is a subparticle model. You could say in competition with string theory, that type of thing. However, there's a number of different advances or advantages, and I cover that in my meta-level science videos on YouTube. So here's a standard wand that we've been using just to stimulate acupuncture points in this is the lung meridian, or the first point in the lung meridian. So it sends energy. This is putting out directed energy, and it's sending it through to the meridian. And they found that there's additional oxygen pressure at the different acupuncture points in the Primo-Vascular system. It's these little tubulars that go throughout the body. It's a relatively new field of research called the Primo-Vascular system. And so there's energy coming, it's being directed out, just like you take a couple of different materials and you put them together and you get a battery. Well, the same thing happens when you put different materials together. You get a chi field being projected. And this is directional. Crystals normally create a direction because there's a spiral of the particles within the crystal. So these are crystals. This is crystals. These round crystals put out a field. These put more of a directional. You take a dielectric conductor. You've got a field flow. There's also capacitors, axial capacitors inside. They're not electronically connected, but because you're using the same dielectric and conductor connection, that's creating a field flow. So this is sort of, if you're looking at it from the perspective of effect, you're getting a chi field flow, plus you're also getting some acupressure on the acupuncture points from the research they've done is they've seen that the weakest effect is acupressure, the next strongest is acupuncture, then electromagnetic stimulation, then sound, then laser light, and then chi projection. And how they've done chi projection is they've been using people sending chi. Well, you can get the same effect just by working with materials, and that's what we're doing with these wands. The advance that I wanted to show you today, there's some other videos I have, or one other video I have on the acupuncture points, although it's a little bit out of date. There's one, is that we've made an advance here. I just mentioned the 6 different strengths. So what we've combined here is we've combined a form of light. Actually, there's 5 different light frequencies. Some of the sound therapy guys use 5 different frequencies combined together. We're using 5 different light frequencies: infrared, red, yellow, green, and blue. And relatively strong ones, and we're getting a field coming out. It's having a significantly strengthened effect because we're using acupressure, but mostly it's just the light field and the key field flowing. At the subparticle level, what we're talking about is it's a different subparticle model, and what the idea is from a properties perspective of the physics model is that as opposed to having discrete spins of half, 1, 3 halves, 2, 5 halves, that's the typical physics model, it's gradations, sort of like in cymatics. Cymatics is, I don't know if you've seen it, where they have a sound item that puts out sound, they have sand on it, and then they put different sounds in it, and they get different structures forming. So the model, from a properties perspective, is the same way, that you get these gradations. The structure is not completely, there's a little give in the different structures that form of the different sound waves, so that you're putting in a sound, you get one structure, then you make a change, and all of a sudden it plays a little. There's a slight change in the structure, but then a big change happens once you reach a different specific frequency, and you get a completely new structure happening. So those are gradations. So that's what we're looking at from the perspective of how subparticles basically are entrained or create particles, or particles are basically a form of reacting subparticles. So in any case, that's sort of a separate video on the physics, but what we're doing here is trying to show you the new light wand. It's got everything the same as the previous wand. You've got the wood. This is oak, dialect. Some of the other wands, some of these wands have mahogany, but all the light ones we're working with right now is oak. It's just a little easier to get a hold of good oak. Oak's good, mahogany's good, ebony's even better. Oak and mahogany pretty close. Mahogany is a little better. It's got slightly different properties. Again, we have all crystals, capacitors inside, a little more capacitors, magnets also, magnet capacitors, then the LEDs, 5 LEDs, and we've got a crystal. And it's putting out a nice field. Some of you guys who are sensitive, actually a lot of you are sensitive, can probably feel the field of the light wand. So this is our standard light wand. And we also have upgraded premium light wands, which has a little stronger, well, actually quite a bit stronger effect. Okay. And it's got bigger capacitors. It's got ebony, really good wood, much stronger. It's got more crystals, little nicer crystals. Really nice crystal at the end, puts out a really strong field. The difference between them from a feel perspective, some of you guys can feel it through because we're working with light here, and so it's going to go through your screen. Your screen's putting out light, so it's going to get part of the effect. At least some of people who are sensitive can feel the effect through the screens. Just to double it up, give you a couple of them at the same time, see if you can feel the energy going through. So that's basically it. What we got from a premium wand and a standard wand. From an effect perspective, this works pretty much through your entire arm. It's got a nice effect. You can feel it going through your entire arm. If you work on your leg, so maybe it goes three quarters of the way through the width of your leg, for the width of the leg. The stronger wand, it'll hit your whole leg, and it'll hit your whole body. So it's pretty strong. The standard wand, pretty good if you're trying to stimulate meridians, because it will drive the energy right through the meridians into your organs. So besides oxygen pressure being greater at the different acupuncture points, you also have, in the Primo-Vascular system, you're also seeing oxygen flowing through the little tubulars, and you're also, they've done some experiments. They've taken some of the cells out, and they've gotten the organs to grow associated with that meridian. So it's as if there's stem cells, just like there's blood being created in the bones. It looks like there's stem cells for different organs being created within the Primo-Vascular system. All it's preliminary research, so I can't go beyond that. They haven't done a lot of repetitive experiments. They've done some initial experiments. I've seen different articles, different places. I'll show you one good book on the Primo-Vascular system. This is from a conference in 2010 or so, and or maybe, yeah, I think it was 2010, maybe 2012, and it's on the Primo-Vascular system. There's a standard research conference, and they go over some of the different tubulars, etc., and some of they got pictures throughout. So it's an expensive book, typical conference medical practice book. So that's it from a light energy perspective. Just wanted to give you one more little blast of energy, and send you off with a good feeling.